Hello y'all, it's Valerie here, and today I'm going to be starting some seeds. I've got some lavender seeds here which need a cold damp period before they will germinate, and tomorrow we're supposed to have a snowstorm roll in, so I wanted to get these lavender seeds put in this jug to get it outside before the storm hits. I also have a couple other seeds I want to put in jugs as well because I've grown these things in jugs before and they've grown quite well. So let's just get into it. So I just have a regular milk jug and I've left a little strip at the handle to create a hinge, and I've poked holes in the bottom and I've poked holes in about an inch up from the side here. I hope you can see that. And what I'm going to do is put soil in this and put my seeds in it, tape it up and set it outside and let nature take care of the rest. So let me get my soil. I've got a big thing of soil right here. So I've got my soil here and I've wet it down. So the first seeds I'm going to jug sow is the Yellow Wonder Strawberry. And I'm going to jug sow part of these. And I think I'm just going to maybe start the rest inside to see what the difference is in growing, because I've only ever grown strawberry from seed in a jug. I've never tried it like under the lights in my house. So I might keep a few just to try on my house under the lights to see if it makes a difference at all. The first thing I like to do is make a tag, and I'll put Yellow Wonder Wild Strawberry. And then I'm just going to take this tag and I stick it down in the side here. Well, let me show you on this side. I stick it down in the side there. And the next thing we're going to do, grab our duct tape. This is actually Gorilla Tape, but I bought it specifically for the jugs because it's a little wider and I find it a little easier to work with. If you get the duct tape, make sure you get the heavy duty stuff. They have this stuff out now that's real thin and plasticky. That stuff comes off. Either get your Gorilla Tape or get the high strength duct tape. It's a couple of dollars more. That's just from experience. If you want to get the other kind and try it out, you can. Don't let me dissuade you. I like to go around the edges of the tape along the bottom and the top seam here, just to make sure they're making good contact all the way around. And then I like to write what it is on the jug. Sometimes I'll write it up under this because it does provide a little bit of water protection so it doesn't fade as quickly. So there's that jug complete. You keep the lid off. Now I'm going to go set that outside. I do have 3 or 4 other jugs out there. When I take this one out, I'll show you what I've already got planted. So that's the first one. Okay, I'm going to do my next jug. First off, you fill it up with your soil. Alright, so I'm just going to do the same thing again. This time, I'm going to do the white soul strawberry. And as many seeds as there are in these packages. I probably didn't need 2 packages of these, but I'm going to grow them out anyways. Now the thing I do like about alpine strawberries is they produce all summer. I know you can buy strawberries that are everbearing that produce all summer. These do as well. That's a lot of seeds, and I maybe put too many in this jug. However, I've got a whole other pack of these seeds. if these all germinate, I'll just pluck them out and separate them. Put my tag in. Just do my tape again. I like to start at the back edge where my hinge is, you know, the piece that's not cut all the way off, and work my way around. Everyone finds their own technique and what works best for them. I know some people do it in strips like I'm attempting to do here because this jug's a little warped, and I feel like it would be easier for me to get this one taped up in about 8 to 10 inch strips instead of one big long piece. I personally think, I'm not going to lie to you, I personally think that taping it up and taking the tape off in the spring are the worst things about this, but it's a small price to pay for how well it works. The next thing I'm going to start in a jug is this Torch Minty Ice Lavender. And it doesn't say anything about needing a cold period, but just from my experience of growing lavender, I'm going to assume this does. Sometimes seed packets just give generic, general growing instructions. They don't give plant-specific growing instructions. Some of the better ones, honestly, for specific growing instructions are Botanical Interests and Johnny's. Sometimes these are exactly on point from Baker's Creek. Sometimes they're generic. So if you want to know if a seed needs cold, just Google it. It'll tell you whether you need cold, whether you need light. I've grown lavender before. I've only ever had success when it's had a cool, wet period. So you might find something that works different or something that's better for you. I'm not trying to tell you to trade your own best judgment for mine. I'm just telling you what I do, and that could be a good jumping off point for someone else. So I jug sow them. I just find it the easiest. This is going to go in a pretzel container. So I like these containers a lot because you don't need to tape them. The lid just comes right off. All you got to do is punch your holes in the bottom and the side. You're ready to go. I don't know if I said this, but you're wanting to get at least, I would say, between 4 and 6 good inches of soil in here, because that helps with the thermal mass, and it's one of the things that helps provide the greenhouse effect on those warm days out there. Remember, we're using these jugs to kind of simulate a cold frame or a greenhouse. When it gets warm, it has that greenhouse effect. The reason we do this instead of just sprinkling them on the ground outside is because this way bugs and erosion and rain washouts don't take your seed somewhere else, you know. You grow them in the jugs, you get your plants, you transplant them out. And also, you can reuse your jugs from year to year if you feel like it, but any of these jugs after a couple of years will start to disintegrate and crack and come apart in small pieces. I forgot to spread vermiculite over those other 2 jugs. They'll be fine because you're supposed to surface sow them, and you are supposed to kind of surface sow these too. You're not supposed to bury them. So I'm going to try to remember the vermiculite this time. It's sitting right there. Vermiculite. I just kind of sprinkle that on top. It helps it retain moisture. It helps with fungus gnats. I don't find fungus gnats to be an issue when I am winter sowing, but if you're using it inside, it will help with fungus gnats. It will help it retain moisture, and it will also let light pass through. That one's done. No need to tape. Oh, I do need to write the name on it though. Okay, now all that's left to do is set those outside. Every year I inventory my seeds. Like, it's one of my late winter jobs that I will do sometime in December or early January. I'll go through and lay eyes on my seeds and just inventory them and make a note of the ones that are, you know, that I've used all the seeds and that kind of thing. But it keeps my inventory up to date and I know what I've got. Well, having gotten rid of a whole bunch of seeds, I really needed to update it this year. And as I was going through, I get a little canister that I start setting seeds aside of the things I want to grow, or the things that I have where the seed's getting old and I really just need to try to grow it before the seed's no longer viable. So that's what this is. These are the seeds that I'm going to grow or plan on growing soon. And let's see, I'm looking for one particular stack. I have a couple of seed varieties that are getting old, so like I've had them for a couple years, and I'm just going to go ahead and put them in these takeout containers, fill it with a little soil, put the lid on it, and set them under my lights and see what I can get to germinate. And I'm just going to mass sow them on the top and then do like everything else. I'll pluck them out later, whatever germinates, and we'll go from there. The first one I have is Bianca di Maggio onion, and it's a long day onion. So let's get some of this soil. That's a lot of onion seed, and I want to say this is the second or third summer I've had them. I don't know if any of these are going to germinate. Could leave these out here to germinate, but it's a little warmer in my house, so I feel like germination will happen quicker, so I will take this one back in. The next one I've got are these red long of Tropea onions. I got these last year in a seed swap, and I don't know how old they were when they were traded with me, so I'm going to plant all of those today. I just take these, sprinkle them on the top, put a tiny bit of soil over them, and some vermiculite, and we're done with that. Tucked away all nice and neat, built-in humidity dome. Okay, these next seeds I've got are called Burning Bush Summer Cypress, and it's Kochia scoparia. It's Cochia scoparia. So it's not like the burning bush, what we think of with burning bush. It's a type of cypress. Type of summer cypress. I had these seeds for a while. I've never been successful with growing them. So there's a lot of seeds in this pack, and I'm just going to sow them all and see what comes up. Now the instructions say sow indoors 4 to 6 weeks before planting out with no cover as light age germination. Seeds will germinate in 10 to 15 days. Seed can also be sown outdoors in the spring after danger of frost is past. We are going to just mass sow them in one of these little takeout containers, and hopefully I get something this year. If not, it's totally my fault. I waited too long to plant the seeds. It says light age germination, so I'm not going to put any dirt on this, but I will sprinkle vermiculite on top like I have all the others. Now when something says it needs light for germination, I do go a little bit lighter on my vermiculite than I do on ones where you don't need light for germination. Okay, where is my marker? Where is my marker? Oh. Sometimes you have to sing a song to keep from losing your mind. I keep forgetting little things, like whenever I first sat down, I forgot my scissors. They were right there. I just had to get up, go around, go grab them. But I did that a few times before I was actually able to push record, and now I'm losing my marker. So singing a song to not lose my mind. I will say, the only two things I've had for me personally work for keeping your tags from fading. I've used pencil, I've used Sharpie, I've used all these different things. And these garden markers, it doesn't matter if it's the skinny ones or the fat ones, they're the only thing besides when I printed out tags on my laser printer. Those are the only two things that didn't fade before the summer was out. Even pencil faded. How does that happen? I guess the sun was just too strong. I'm just trying to get through some of my old seed stock, because I would rather use it than have it sit there and go bad, because I never got to it. Some of them already have gone bad, I'm sure. I have a couple more of these containers. I've got like this one and another little one. I am just going to go ahead. I was just looking to see if I had any more. I'm just going to go ahead and sow these two, because I mean, I've got the seeds here already. I'll just pick a couple and go ahead and get these ones started as well. So I think in this one, I'm going to put my red acre cabbage. I bought these seeds in 2020, I want to say, and last year I didn't have great germination rate. So this year I'm just going to sow all the rest of the seeds I have, and then next year, if I want to grow cabbage, I will just buy, or at the end of the summer if I do fall cabbage, I will just get more seeds. These little containers aren't very deep, but whatever I put in here will not be in them very long. What I'll do is they'll sprout, and I'll keep them under my lights until they have probably their second set of true leaves, and then I'll pop them out of here into individual containers. If my seed's fresher, I may be more likely to individually sow them, or for some things, I individually sow them to save myself from having to pot up everything down the line. But for these old seeds where I'm not sure if anything's going to germinate, I'm just going to do it this way. It uses less space under my lights, and it's just as effective at growing as bigger containers, at least temporarily. And what I do is, if I empty a package of seeds, like I completely use all of them, I will put them all together in like a little basket or a little stack, and then I'll go in my seed inventory and just color that square red, knowing that I've used all my seeds. So that way, at first I was deleting them, like when I used them all, but then I would find myself being like, oh, I lost the tag. What was that variety of pepper I grew? I only grew one hot pepper. What was it? This is just a vague example. And I couldn't go look back at my seed list, so I find if I just put a red mark through it but leave it on my list, then later down the line, if I'm like, oh, I need to know what this type was, I can go look at my list if I've lost the tag. And just based on me knowing like what I planted that year, I can usually figure it out. But I really shot myself in the foot the first year I started keeping my inventory, and I just deleted stuff as I used them instead of just leaving them in my inventory but coding them differently. That little tip may help someone out there. You might have a way that works better for you already. Oh. I guess we'll plant whatever this is because it fell out of a stack. Snowball cauliflower. That's fine with me. Anything I didn't get to today goes back in my handy little tin. And then that way it's easy for me to grab next time I come out here. I don't leave my seeds in my greenhouse even during this time of year, even though it's cool, because most of the time it's cooler in here than it is in my house, which is better for seeds, even though I do keep this in a cold part of my house. However, the reason I don't keep them out here even this time of year when I'm going to be using them is because if it gets up to, say, 60 degrees outside, it's going to be 90 or 100 in here, and that's bad for my seeds. So I just take them back in, keeping them in this tin, makes it easy to grab as, you know, I go out the door. And I know it looks really full, but I've got my peppers that I'm growing for the season in here. I've got my tomatoes I'm growing for the season in here, including stuff for the seedling sale. And then a lot of seeds that I'm just trying to work through instead of letting them go to waste. Let's go take those jugs outside and I'll show you what all I've got going in jugs so far. I have my jugs lined up here in this bed where I had cherry tomatoes last year. And so far I've got white dandelion, lady's mantle, that was old seed too, so I don't know if it'll come up. Blue false indigo, Clarkia, this was old seed, so I don't know if that'll germinate. These are rose seeds that I got from some hips that definitely need a cold period. So I thought I would set those out there and let nature do its job. And pink dandelion. So we're just going to put the Yellow Wonder wild strawberry the white soul strawberry, and the minty torch lavender here amongst the jugs. And who knows, I may have a few more to sow this season, so I might be adding jugs to the collection. I just wanted to get them out here before the snow comes. The next several videos that I will be making honestly will probably be much the same, because I'm right in the middle of seed starting season and I'm going to be planting a lot of seeds. So I will bring you out here and we can hang out and talk and nerd out about seeds, and you can see what varieties I'm planting. Also, there will be outside projects actually coming up as well. It's just that those are weather dependent, so I have to wait until the time is right. And of course I'll bring you along for all that as well. I hope you all are out there getting your own scenes started, or at least living vicariously through us who choose to film ourselves doing so. I appreciate you guys so much. Leave me a comment and let me know what you guys are starting, if anything, or maybe it's too early. You can tell me that too. Just let me know what's going on for you in your garden right now. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.